Namaste, I'm Mona Flynn. Thank you for joining me today for our Thanksgiving Life Fit practice. We have a half an hour chair yoga class. We will use a chair. We will not have any other fancy props so that this is an accessible practice. If you will sit at the front edge of your chair with your feet underneath your knees and hands behind you, so that altogether we arrive with an open set of shoulders and open heart. Draw the chin toward the chest, firm the legs, lengthen the spine, and feel how you are arriving. Our yoga practice encourages and helps us to develop this awareness building, to come to attention to the beginning of our practice and acknowledge our practice being present during our time on the mat helps us to refine our sense of being present as life unfolds off our mat. Bring your hands to your heart. Our mantra today is Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari is the divine, the remover of sorrows, the remover of obstacles. We all have that higher power that we respond to, that we connect to. Om is the universal sound of creation that reverberates in everything in this environment of our universe. Tat Sat is your truth, so your practice is reminding you to stand in your truth as a spark of divinity, part of our world community, that you are important and we need you. Let us begin. Take the arms wide into this T position, lift your gaze, and to notice how if we were to straighten the legs, we have this elongated T position. Everything moves away from the center of gravity, and what we recognize in addition to muscles that are working is that our core turned on. So this T in our turkey pose today, we have an acronym, the T's, is reminding us that whenever we reach beyond ourselves, our inherent core strength keeps us grounded. It's part of our human design. We can think about it physically, emotionally, spiritually, how we extend into this world. As you bring the hands back, we're going to aim for the back of the hands together, then behind us. So take the arms wide, reach away, ground the legs, sit nice and tall. And as you exhale, take the hands behind you, back of the hands together, and just feel how that gives you a chance to continue to open the front body. When you're ready for change, that place, that in between, we're going to return to fingertips back towards you. And this time we're going to rotate the fingertips back. And we're going to rotate the fingertips down any amount, inviting the arms to lift and inviting the arms back. And that is a little bit more. So please back off as you need, recognizing that I'm trying to give options for variety. We are all different in how we are strong and where we are mobile, where we are ready. Taking the arms down and back, I'll show from a different angle. This is the opposing work, and I want to reach more down than back. I want to pull the fingertips toward the elbows to feel now the opposing stretch through the forearm and the wrist. Very nice. From here, we're going to add folding and unfolding. We're just slowly waking up the body. If you will, catch the back of the chair and come into this little bit of a fold. And what you'll find is the opportunity to choose whether you hold on lower and affect more of the neck to the shoulder, whether you hold on higher and have a deeper fold and affect the spine a little bit more. It is fun, and curiosity will come more into play, just to explore what if I were to hold on lower and to barely barely lean in, and how I have the stretch of the front of the shoulders and across the chest, heart opening for sure. But the elbows, wrists, shoulders, neck, and spine in general get traction. From here, we're going to send the arms forward, and we're going to hip hinge, deepening our fold. As we come upright, we're going to come with shoulder retraction, not just unfolding. And again, we're easing in, we're warming up here, connecting shoulder girdle and hips in this warming up. One more time, please. As you come upright this time, we'll take hands together to the outer knee and come sliding into a little bit of a fold and a twist. So we can keep the twist very simple. I'll show from this angle to say that I brought my hands across, I'm resisting. And then if I wanted to come a little bit deeper into this fold, I am asking my spine for a deeper twist. And we are headed toward this aiming for an upside down kind of experience. And I realize that not everyone is willing or able to comfortably do that. So adding a fold takes us closer to those upside down kind of places in our yoga practice, because in fact, what we are doing is allowing the cardiovascular system, not just the nervous system, to warm up to that. There are many benefits to changing perspective, is one of them, to being more with our head closer toward the floor. And one reason that I feel is important is the effect on the cardiovascular system. When you come up and down from the floor, when you bend down to tie your shoe, to pick up a small child, to pick up something, then as you stand up, there is a shift of blood volume. So our yoga poses that take us to folding and unfolding, whether they are an inversion where we bear weight, all of those shift blood volume and they make our cardiovascular system more efficient. Come on again. If we are tapping into connecting to visual acuity, it is sharpening that. Emotionally, it helps us change perspective. But the other benefit is to how we stay in charge of maintaining balance, how it sharpens proprioception. So with that in mind, challenge yourself, spend a little time back off where you need, but notice here how we can play around with taking the outside arm and opening up and lifting our gaze and then coming down. Allow your eyes to follow your hand where it is going. And we get to not just articulate the spine, strengthen the twist, strengthen the shoulder, but build time in this place where our head is a little bit lower. So take your time. We'll try this one more time and then we'll be ready to get to our feet. So as you come into this little bit of a twist with resistance, this is a strengthening twist. Slide on in any amount. Notice you are turning on the axis of your spine, that you can explore any variation of how you are using the relationships that come to be available, but opening up, creating space wherever you can in your practice. Inhaling as the chest opens, exhaling to firm the legs and return, and to build balance in what you practice when you have something that is asymmetrical, to be kind to yourself in where you need to respect limitations of the body and to recognize the empowerment that comes when you are willing to be curious and explore. From here, we're going to give attention to our feet. So I'm going to slide forward again, and I'm going to slide one foot underneath. And this propped up foot gets to pull back. The other foot gets to push forward. I'm going to come to that hip hinge again. And the idea is to firm the legs and to notice being able to rise up And we're not going to do it necessarily from here unless that is within your means and you feel inclined to do it. But just to push into the legs is a wonderful building block. Come on back, take the hands behind you, allow the rib cage to have extension so that we're lifting the heart and lifting the gaze and continuing to use the feet. Here we are strengthening the back building capacity of the spine. The back bending capacity is the extension. And we are designed to include that movement. We don't get to do that through our day so much. So incorporating that into our yoga practice is a wonderful maintenance tool. Let's switch. I have the other foot now propped up underneath the center of gravity, keeping the spine fairly straight, coming into this hip hinge, lifting the ribs away from the hips, trying to create length and space, connecting to this grounding, connected to our feet kind of position. If what you did on the other side was to come up out of the chair, please include it here, but bear into your legs. Great strengthening of the feet. Come on back. Prop the hands, lift the sternum, lift your gaze, protect the neck. Decide if what you need to do is to look ahead. Allow your head to follow your spine and rib cage and explore what is manageable and how you have variety. Our feet hold 1/4 of the bones in our body, a lot of articulating surfaces, and they are the foundation in our human design. So here, more with symmetry. I am sitting with my feet a little wider than my hips. Allow your body to tell your feet where to be. And now we're going to rise up. So as you come up out of the chair, try to shift your sitting bones back. And then come a little bit further. Building time through the transition just will mean that this transition of coming up out of the chair, sitting down, rising up is always going to be manageable. We'll be feeling like a piece of cake. How we connect to our feet in our standing poses then gives us the opportunity to be in charge of where we are in space, to improve gait, how we walk and move in this world, and how we are able to create strengthening patterns that connect to proprioception and balance, right? Being in charge of how you rise up and where you stand strong. If you'll stand behind the chair with your palms away, and if your chair is designed in such a way that you can rest the heels of the hands or the center of the palm there, and if your chair is not designed in such a way, then hold on to the sides of the chair. We have something similar. All 4 legs of the chair on your mat, so there's no slipping. We're counting on the sticky mat. And I want you to step back just a little bit, bend in your elbows, and push away. Now what you'll find here is that your heels connected to the floor means that you're having this calf and ankle stretch, that your arms being in charge of this push-up style position is building upper body strength, and that you can connect to the ease, deciding how low to go, deciding if you can be a little bit further away. It takes a little bit of courage to do that if it is new to you, but responding to what your body's intuition is then telling you. So as you come in again, if you will, in this plank position, let's sneak into extension, into a little back bend, into upward facing dog. And I want to invite the rib cage to move past the upper arms and to drop the pelvis a little bit and to lift the heart. Rise up onto your toes and notice the greater mobility in your spine, this expansiveness that all of a sudden is afforded to you. Please don't overdo if this is new, and then come on back and fold. And as you fold, this downward facing dog or this standing forward fold becomes a recovery. Look slightly ahead to strengthen the neck. You're not straining in any way. Root the inner heels, lift the sitting bones. Notice that you have these two long lines of energy. But if we micro bend in the knees and root the inner heels and lift the sitting bones, we can feel the lengthening of the hamstrings, the opening up of the belly of those muscles. And we can be in charge of this light set of actions that is kind on the body, recognizing that if we build time and stay a little longer, that is one way to affect our practice. We build a better understanding of what we're asking for. We build resilience, we strengthen structure, and we surprise ourselves in the stepping stones of our practice and not just physically. From here, as you lift your head and come unfolding, step one leg forward, and it doesn't matter which leg. Very good. And so I have this opportunity to bend, to continue to hip hinge and to fold, and to rest the arms. And all of a sudden, what I'm not doing is just sinking in. I am giving a little bit of weight to the upper arm to give myself a chance to have this slightly deeper, quieter fold. There's more lengthening action in the back body. We're going to add a twist from this higher position, and that means if your right leg is the front leg, the right arm can go to your hip, it can slide behind you, you can take it out to the side, around and up, and turn in this revolved triangle. Any of that is possible, but the hand below is in charge of the twist. Notice that I am aiming to keep my back heel at the floor. We invite the kneecaps up, that is a learned action. We keep the shoulders out of the ear, and using the chair this way in revolved triangle, we get to stay long through the torso. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, ground. Very nice, everyone. Inhale, come on up. And as you exhale, put your hands at the chair, bend in the front knee. Decide if you are going to broaden your stance. I'm going to move my front foot a little bit further forward. And I'm using Warrior One with the chair this way to add an isometric component. I have effort applied without movement. I am pushing down and forward, and I'm using that to add more lift through the lower abdominals, to move my rib cage away from the front knee, and to reach into the inner back heel, to invite the squaring of the pelvis and the lift of the rib cage, all these great things that warrior poses give us. Warrior poses give us a sense of readiness. They are empowering. They help us to connect to how we are grounded and centered and to stand in our strength. When you're ready for change, please do this. Step the front foot back, the back leg forward. And as we come back from doing all of that on the other side, revolved triangle and Warrior One, we'll give more attention to our feet. So let's get to that. I'm going to turn so I can stay with you. The other leg comes forward. We adjust this slightly longer stance, squaring the pelvis, and we come into a hip hinge. The spine stays neutral. The arms in this position allows us to settle in and to focus on what the legs are doing without overdoing, to invite this opening of the back of the knees and the calf and the ankle and more. So where we are in space and how we use our feet, our attention to that can really affect where we feel confident and where we get to strengthen and move from. As you are ready to take that outside arm and turn, it could be the hand at your hip. You can slide the arm across any amount to continue opening the shoulder. Again, you can take the arm up in this revolved triangle. But as you are here, just notice how you stay long through both sides of the body. And that aside from bending at the elbows, everything in your body feels long and it feels strong. So the T in our Turkey Day practice was reminding us that every time we reach away from the midline, stretching away from our center, our core engagement turns on. And our body is designed physically and emotionally to hold us with how we are then grounded, right? Upside down, that you, our yoga practice invites us to this folding, unfolding, having our head lower for all those myriad of reasons, physically and emotionally and spiritually, that shifting our perspective takes us. When you're ready to inhale and come out of this pose, bend in your front knee, use your hands at the back of the chair, push forward and decide if after all of that deep stretching, then you can move that front foot further, please do. You may already know yourself in this warrior one that you prefer a wider lower pose with the back heel off the floor, but just note here as you ground the back heel that you are squaring the pelvis and that you are continuing to connect to opening up the back body while you are engaging all together with the push of the hands, drawing the lower abdominals in, moving the rib cage back, and lengthening the spine. The rise, we came to our feet, brings us in our practice to the awareness of what our feet are doing, that we don't just rest on our legs. And when we are more aware, when we give attention to how we strengthen our feet relative to whatever else we are doing in our practice, it altogether strengthens our structure, but allows us to move well in our world and not just physically. So here, if you will, stand with the chair a little bit closer to you. Your hands will bear down and slightly forward. If you will lift the toes and spread them wide. The K in our Turkey Day practice stands for kindness, and not just being true to yourself in your practice, being kind and recognizing where you need to not force movement, but to practice with awareness, then becomes translated in how we move with kindness in our world. Lift the front of your feet. Notice the lift in the front body in general, the grounding in the back body in general, how the kneecaps lift, the pelvic floor lifts, the lower abdominals lift, the heart lifts, the collarbone spread, all of these lifting ways. So connecting to kindness is also connecting to our inherent design, that goodness that we are born with, wanting for the goodness of others, the well-being of others. As you rest on your feet, as you rest your hands with the top of the chair just for a little bit of reassurance, I want you now to come to your toes and just lift a little bit. Notice how taking away the connection to the floor invites a little bit of mobility to the spine and rib cage, and we can use it by making our breath slow and full and fluid. You are welcome to explore coming higher, taking time not to roll out in your feet, and to come down slowly, keeping your mind on your breath and therefore on your body. The expansion of the rib cage because of what our feet are doing. As you make it all the way to the floor, root the big toe mounds and the inner heels, lift the arches of the feet, connect back to lifting the kneecaps and the pelvic floor, the lower abdominals and the heart and shoulders. Reach the arms beside you and just feel how you are standing in your center. Standing poses are empowering, so are back bend poses, so are inversions. So we want to be empowered by all the categories of poses, exploring our practice. They're empowering. That is the E in our Turkey Day practice. We're going to return to our chair and have our recovery twist. So if you will, come and sit. Shift your body weight back. As you make it all the way down, notice how when you give your weight to your sitting bones, there's this access to a little bit more length. So keep it. Turn to your side, turn to the side so the back of the chair is beside you, and come and hold the back of the chair. I'm going to join you from another angle. I want you to notice that you can slide back and have your legs supported so your twist is smaller. You can slide forward and all of a sudden your body has to twist more, so your spine has to be willing, and therefore you can choose somewhere in that, somewhere in between even, to explore this twist. Take the back hand and anchor down, taking the load off the spine. We have this push-pull relationship, these isometric opportunities to build strength and bring our attention to what we are practicing within this great field of awareness. Inhale to come out of the twist. Exhale, simply swivel around and ease in. This doesn't have to be any more than what you wish. Feet on the floor is giving you a chance to extend the spine by grounding down. You are welcome to deepen your twist. And as you do, taking that back hand to prop up, take the load off the lumbar spine, perhaps invite more rotation of the upper rib cage, and how we are able to turn more from the middle of the rib cage. You can explore turning your head to participate more in the twist, to allow your neck to participate more. And then still inhale to come out of your twist. Sit well back in your chair. I'll join you from another angle. So I'm going to come closer to the screen and show you our mudra that we will finish with. So your thumbs pressing into each other, stretching the fingers wide, and your thumbs pressing into each other automatically makes the hands respond in this manner. So you will find how your hands stretch, how it affects the front of the shoulders, but equally how it affects this fanning position through the side ribs. Draw your chin to your chest. Again, deepen your breath. Make it slow and smooth and full. Notice the lateral expansion of the rib cage. The sense of spaciousness that comes from having not just movement that loosened up structure and space, but having movement that brings awareness, mind on the body. Switch which thumb is, or which hand is in front. And returning to this awareness of breath, the expansion of the rib cage laterally, also brings your attention to the length that you are creating in your body, not just the breadth. No matter what we practice on the mat, the why in our Turkey Day practice, this is your yoga practice. Listen to your body, make this your practice. You are building awareness, strengthening, building resilience, empowerment, not just where you are practicing on your mat physically, but building your awareness of your resilience and how it translates to all the ways we are in this world off the mat. It is important that you get to be you. We need you to be you in this world. Bring your hands to your heart. Return to that mantra, Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari is the divine that we connect to. Not just our higher power, but to understand that a divine spark in each of us is an extension, and it connects us to each other as well. Through that Om, that reverberation that started from that moment of creation. And Tat Sat, our truth, connecting you to your own truth. So I hope you've enjoyed this practice. Thank you for your presence in our practice for Thanksgiving here at Thanksgiving time and every day. Namaste.